And action. Guys, it's Brock Bowen again here, just having another conversation in regards to the quantum movement. Today I brought on Daniel Kurlapski, a legend from Sydney. He's done some amazing things. We were fortunate to meet, probably 2 years ago, not even. And he's just someone that I wanted to stay connected with. But just tell us where you are today, what you're up to, and then we'll get straight into exploring a bit about the quantum movement so we can share this with other people.
Sweet. G'day, Brock. G'day, guys. Yeah, no, I'm in a pretty good space today. Woke up feeling pretty good. Get some really good news yesterday in terms of a property I'd kind of been manifesting, wanting to move into a new space, and just learnt or reiterated what we all know in our lives, which is to be clear on what you want, to not settle on any of that, but also not just to want things for no reason, but give it purpose. And then it's really tough for that not to land in your hands. So
Awesome.
Pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, I like it, man. I woke up super happy this morning too, which is great, and energized and clear. I think we're just losing Daniel, so just pause for a second. Are you back?
Yep.
So make sure we've got enough Wi-Fi. Cool. So Jason's obviously a big part of the quantum movement. So just tell me a bit about him and some of the things you love about, what he's up to there.
Yeah, so I'm probably about 5 weeks into the program now. And it's teaching me a lot about what is relevant and what isn't relevant right now. Might not never be relevant, but it just isn't relevant right now. And saying no to the right things, which has really coincided with where I'm at for the second part of the year. And it's the complete polar opposite to what the first half of my year was, which was trying to do absolutely everything, thinking I was completing everything, but it probably wasn't to its fullest extent because I already had one eye on the next thing. So the quantum movement sort of work that we're doing has a lot to do with, I'd say, becoming habitually intuitive. So creating the habits to become intuitive and at any point in time listening to what is actually relevant.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's serving me really well at the moment, but there's so much work to do and forever will be, right?
Yeah. Super fun. Say you were just telling a friend about the gratitude you have for this program. How would you articulate that? Say you're just talking to your mum and say, I've just been doing this program.
Well, first I'd say to my mum, I have so much more gratitude for you because I'm so much more present as a result of going through this program and doing a lot of the work we're doing in this program. So, it's just been incredible in bringing me to a more consistent and regular state of presence with what's in front of me. So it's been unbelievable. So I've become aware of things in my life that I'm unbelievably grateful for. That I wasn't actually paying gratitude to that before, and that's seems so silly. We have so much more in our lives than what we often realize. So
yeah, life's amazing, man. What were you like before? Like, just tell everyone you're not a guy who was struggling down and out, anything like that. I just want to know, what you're up to, what were you like before, and kind of so it just gives us that energy of what shifted for you, really.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't sure whether I needed to do this program. I was like, fuck, I'm doing pretty well. Like, I've just stepped out of my business, no longer practicing as a physio. I've got 3 clinics in 3.5 years. Like, super grateful for that, and humble in that sense as well. But I felt like I was doing well. I've always sort of focused on personal development and mindset and all that sort of stuff, and obviously getting into coaching myself and coaching people. I was like, shit, like, am I going to benefit from this? But I had watched a talk that you had done, Brock, with Jason, and this was whilst I was overseas in Finland. And what resonated with me most was the way Jason was talking about getting out of your own way and the language that he used around that. And I like, that's probably my biggest thing. I know I'm doing great, but is that the limit? No, it's not, right? And I know that there's a part of me that gets in my own way. And it was an attempt to really try and nullify that and learn to get out of my own way. And I can see it happening already. But yeah, so that's why I jumped into the program.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, for sure. Yeah. So
thank you for introducing me, mate, and exposing me to it all.
100% too. You know, I had that too when Jason and I were catching up. We've known each other for about 3 years, and when I arrived to the Sunshine Coast, we started catching up, supporting each other, and hanging out, spending time together. Just because, I don't know, when you're present with another man. It's amazing. It's just such a beautiful thing to do, and you can have real conversations. What's working, what's not, everything in between, and not feel like you have to hide a part of yourself. And Jason's definitely, of that caliber. That's what I love. And yeah, it's cool. But let's talk about your creations, because you've obviously, used your own focus, used some of the tools of personal development previously, created a lot. What would you say is different, say in choosing this house or creating your coaching program, like just say in the last 5 weeks, in terms of, I don't know, where before it might not have felt so natural or whatever it happened to be? What's really different?
A clarity as to what I need to be attending to and sort of feeding in my life. So, and confidence in sticking with that, rather than, because you'll always sort of, and I do have things coming to me all the time. Whilst I'm doing one particular thing, there are things coming to me all the time. At that point in time, because they're not relevant for that point in time, they're a distraction, or can act as a distraction. And so, I'll do particular things to make sure that I don't forget those things, but I stick to what I'm doing, and I have confidence now sticking to what I'm doing and not being swayed off of what I'm doing. And yeah, so that's, I think that's, so it's honed in and really almost laser focus me, which is super, super powerful when you're giving all of yourself to the one thing and you do it to absolute completion. And then what you're feeling at the end of that process is a complete readiness to take on the next thing. So yeah.
What are some results as well? Say you're just sitting down having a coffee.
Yep.
Just with a close friend. You're having one of those conversations that you love. What are some results you've created even in the last 5 weeks that probably wouldn't have been possible previously? Even around this home, I'm curious about that too, because you talk about Bondi in that particular area. I've heard, 50 people turn up for those things to try and get a rental. And the place you're looking at is, it's gorgeous. So I'm even, that's obviously one thing. I'm sure there's been other things you could articulate based on this one.
Yeah. So if I try and tie in some of the stuff that I applied from what I'm learning working with Jason, quantum movement, with the house that's now 95% approved. So let's wait for that 5%. But
it's already done.
Yeah, that's right. But I was super, super clear as to what I wanted. I had seen it, and I'd seen myself living with the people I wanted to be living with and having the experiences I wanted to be having in that house, and being able to do the work I wanted to be doing from that house, and being in nature and all that sort of stuff. The only thing is that when this house actually popped up, it was that beautiful of a space that, like, there was probably what you would call a bit of a limiting belief that popped up immediately. And it was like, nah, I can't, like, that's not for me. Like me, I'd be living in a house like that. And then the price as well. The price is double and a half of what I'm paying now. And it will definitely stretch me. But no more than probably 6 weeks ago, so when I first arrived back from being overseas, I spent probably one night in my home and then went off to live with a friend for a week in Manly to see what it's like living by the beach and living in Manly and living a bit further from work and that sort of stuff. And her house, beautiful. She had manifested that place. Loved living there. She told me the price. And when she told me what she was paying for rent, which is what I'm going to be paying for rent, I was just like, what the fuck? How do you afford that? So on and so on. Like, I was like, fuck. And I thought, like, that money, I could be putting that money away every week and then like saving towards this and so on and so on. But like now I'm in a position because I became at ease. And this is what the quantum movement program has taught me, to become at ease with something that feels super uncomfortable at a particular moment. Like, well, that's me. I could be living in that house. Why? Right? Why am I saying those things? Become at ease with that. And then you're going to attract that into your life even more. And so now I'm struggling to remember what it felt like looking at that price tag for rent and thinking that that was too much, because I'm completely seeing it in a different light. Like, that's an investment into my headspace, into my day-to-day. And it's pretty crazy. And it's, we're talking 6 weeks.
I love those too, because I just love that, that you're considering what you actually really want, and also creating that space and the opportunities for different people to come through. And we were talking about it before, just off camera, about how it's so special when you have that spare room, when you've traveled the world and now you're in one spot for a particular period of time. It sometimes feels it's just a particular flow to it that's incredible when you have these different people come and stay, and even having your mum come, that'd be special.
Yeah, 100%. So creating those experiences with people closest to me, like, that was super, super important to me. And I was just saying to you offline or whatever, that I've traveled every year for the last 6 years, and a whole bunch of people have hosted me around the world. And I was just like, I can't return the favor in the current place I'm in. So that was super important to me. And when you put that purpose behind things, it makes it super fucking easy. But like, also prioritizing yourself. You need to prioritize yourself. I think if you're putting yourself second, you're putting everyone else second.
Yeah.
Because you want everyone to be receiving the best possible version of you, right? So sometimes we kind of want to be selfless and choose other people over or other scenarios over our own best scenario. But if you're coming from the right place, then you should always be prioritizing yourself, and everyone else will benefit.
For sure, baby. We were freestyling off camera before, so it's fun.
I was trying to.
We might bring some more in again, but yeah, it's great. What are some of the emotions that you've been feeling?
Emotions?
Like you talked about, getting back to Zen, but what have some of the challenges that have been coming up that you've been able to move through? What have you noticed and paid attention to? What's been happening there?
Critique, for sure, 100%. I come from a science background, being a physiotherapist, and I've always been super open-minded to the spiritual world and everything else, right? And never discarded anything, right? So it's why I'm in the program as well. But I'd kind of be like, well, do I need to do that? Because I feel like what we're doing here is like, it's visualization, and there's a fuck ton of visualization happening. So do I need to be putting the hand up, and do I need to be doing this here or whatever else? So I was questioning a lot.
Yeah, cool.
But I think it goes beyond the physical, hey, I'm putting my hand up to do this practice. Rather, it's, why do you care that you're putting your hand up and anyone's thinking anything? That's the belief we're working on, right? So
yeah, that's gold.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, and it'll continue to pop up, and it still does, but it's much quieter. But yeah.
Say with I've noticed it too with Christy, some of that stuff shifting, and we've already had, like, we love each other so much, have a phenomenal relationship. Just every now and then I'm so flow and she's so structured, and that can cause friction. But and what I've noticed for myself is I'm naturally being a whole lot more organized, and now it means when I'm a lot more organized, she seems to be a whole lot more flow, which is fun. So I'm curious for you, what are some of the, just in terms of the relationships around you, what have you noticed there? Anything different at all?
What have I noticed?
Hmm.
I'd like to think that I was always pretty present within conversations, and I wasn't going to let much distract me whilst in a conversation. But that's gone to another level as well. Even though I felt I was pretty good before, it's gone to another level, and it's all about being able to, raise your vibrations and bring energy to the conversation. And I think I'm seeing people around me inadvertently and probably not even consciously appreciating the way I'm being and what I'm offering in that sense. Yeah. And even though I've been saying no in a particular way, but I've been saying no to more things, even to the people closer to me and business partner and whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a sense of appreciation for that, like maybe a level of respect that I'm respecting what's important and what I'm prioritizing and that sort of stuff. So yeah,
that's huge for sure too.
Yeah.
I know that when I'm on multiple projects and feeling that my energy's been pulled in different directions, it's definitely helped me in that way too. Next thing I want to ask as well is, what's something that you can't really even explain about this, about how it's different? A lot of people have done goal setting, visualization, personal development, all that sort of stuff. And, I've done a lot of that stuff, and I definitely find this different. So I'd like to ask that question. What would you say for someone that's just tuning into this?
So I've meditated for the last 4 years. I've started teaching meditation, what I believe to be a super practical way to meditate, just to bring it to the everyday person. But I've started taking on the morning process that's involved in this program, and you've got your clearing of things that aren't serving you, and then you're balancing out, and then sealing that with gold, or connecting and then sealing that with gold. And all of this stuff, again, like, what gets me the most coming from my scientific background, like the gold, and I'm bringing gold to myself, and I'm like, all this sort of stuff, but like, whatever, right? I'm kind of, if I'm doing something, I'll do it. And I was explaining this to my housemate the other day. I was like, man, this is the process I go through in the morning, and I can't tell you why, and I'm not necessarily looking for why, but it's just fucking working. Like, and I've put a reminder to raise my energy and raise my vibration every hour or whatever. And when I do it, I don't know what I'm actually doing, but I feel that the raise in vibration, the raise in energy. And like, the best way I can explain that is it's a level of, I watched a movie last night, great movie. It's called Other Life. And there was a great line in it, which is reality and fantasy. When it comes to the mind, or according to the mind, reality and fantasy are chemically identical, right? Yeah. So what does that mean? That like, you can visualize something to some unbelievable degree, and it's no different to reality, right? And it can often bring that into your life. So a lot of what I'm doing, if I'm raising my energy and raising my vibration and all that sort of stuff, I feel that. I actually then physically feel that and go through my day feeling that way. So I don't know why, and I couldn't explain it properly, but I don't care, and I'm not necessarily searching for that. But yeah,
it's fun too. I like that you can't necessarily explain it, but even I was just at Wanderlust over the last few days, and the presenter would say, go and speak to someone random. And I have a lot of these instances, but I just go and speak to someone, and they're literally in the medical field, and they're the people that can do, look at energetic medicine and start to get feedback. So start to look at bioresonance and all the different things. And Jason's told me examples of different people being around Wi-Fi and so forth, where Wi-Fi normally affects our energetic field, but when you actually do more of these processes, it actually doesn't affect you. That fascinates me, and even to the point, I used to do 2 hours meditation in the morning, 2 hours at night, Qigong, all these different things. And I just found like it simplifies my life so much. I've got more time, and it's cool. But you definitely feel calm too. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the Wi-Fi stuff, I can't say much on that, right? But like, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it's serving, like I feel the difference, and we often want to know the difference or whatever else, but like feeling is so much more powerful, right? So yeah.
Amazing. Any final things you want to say to everyone? Just to say anything at all? Any final comments?
I think I've already recommended this program to a couple of people, but I think what's interesting is the wide range of people that could benefit from this, right? So, you know, from your person that feels they're doing pretty well, pretty successful, whatever else, to the person that might feel that they've just been fucking struggling for the last 10 years and are in a fucking hole and they cannot get out of it. You know, that spectrum there, it has a relevance to each of those people at both ends of those spectrums. So, yeah, definitely worth doing, and an investment, again, into yourself and prioritizing yourself. So give it a whirl. Well worth it.
Give it a whirl, baby. Give it a 12, give it a whirl. That's enough. But it's good to...
Yes, mate. Come on, give us something.
Oh, yeah.
30 seconds worth. Go for it.
All right, cool. Yo, I'm international, living in the flow. Take it slow, then you speed up, then you start to go. I just saw your mum. She just said, what's on your tongue? I'm about to put my hat on backwards, and I put it forwards, flipped it around side to side, came up. I had a little bit more pride. Get in stride. Get back to the flow. Get it slow. Get it gangster. We're about to get in trouble. Somebody burst my bubble. We're fresh out of the air. My hands in the air like I don't care. Got my hair out everywhere today. Feeling like I'm ready to play. Say good day to a mate on the street. Go on a date. Don't be late. Stay present to your craft. Come and blast. The master, blaster, the cut faster. Jesus is my savior. He's got the ultimate flavor. That's enough for us. The quantum movement is fun. Go out in the sun like I did yesterday. You're going to feel great. You're going to play. Boom. Yeah. It's fun to put that on the end. I'm definitely feeling it too. Like what you said before. I went and saw Arrested Development. We're just talking about that off camera, but it's pertinent because I'm starting to just jump in and be a lot more confident with my, just having a crack. You know, just laying down some lyrics or doing some beatboxing or whatever. But I've been a speaker. I run retreats. I coach, mentor, blah, blah, blah. Putting a lot of my attention into helping build the quantum movement's been amazing. It's just showed up in so many different areas, taking my ego out of the game and going, well, cool, this thing's amazing. There's so many different elements to it. And just to share that with people has been beautiful. And it's allowed me more time and more focus to actually go into that, which has been cool. But when I saw Arrested Development, I was jumping like I'm looking fine at 39. Yeah, that's my age. And I was jumping around like a school kid.
Well, it's not about being serious, hey?
No, not at all.
You can go through every single aspect of your life, regardless of whether you're a business person or whatever else, being sincere in everything you do without being serious, right? I like to live my life by that, but yeah, fuck, if you, it doesn't matter what age you are, you could be 69 jumping up and down to Arrested Development, mate.
100% I will be.
Yeah.
That'll be like, that'll be about 100 or something. Boom! Anyway, that's enough from us. I want to keep it to a particular amount of time.
Yeah, right.
Let's press the stop button. Thank you so much for being on. Appreciate it.
No problem.